again and welcome to Elisabeth Hogarth Designs. It is day 20 of my Christmas card making. I hope you enjoyed Leslie's tutorial yesterday. Don't forget that you can find all of my current videos for the 25 days of card making in a dedicated playlist. Really appreciate it if you would comment on the videos and let me know what you think, which ones are your favourites. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that alert bell for up-to-date notifications. So today we are working again with the Warm Wishes collection from Graphic 45 and the Ink Rose collection from Craft Consortium. The Ink Rose papers are going to end up being the back base of our card, and the Warm Wishes papers make the perfect accompaniment for decoration. The card that we're creating today can work as a very stylish card with separate panels that you can decorate. You can also turn it into something more of a photo journal where you can add photos of the family, and then by adding ribbons and some extra papers on the back, you can turn it more into a book or a mini journal to add your own elements. So let me show you how to make this Christmas showstopper. To begin with, I'm going to make the card base, and fingers crossed you will be able to see what I'm doing clearly. I began with a white piece of cardstock, but it was a bit too thick. But by the time you've added the extra elements, this 180 GSM paper from the Ink Drops Rose should work really well, and it's a fabulous festive colour. So we're going to begin by cutting the 12 by 12 paper down to 9 inches. But keep this part because you might find it useful. Then we're going to score. You can of course use your scoring tool, but I find this cutter and scoring tool relatively straightforward. So we're going to score at 3 inch increments, so that is 3 inches, 6 inches and 9 inches. Then we want to bring our cutting tool back into it, so we're going to turn the paper around so we're working down this line here at the 3 inch mark. So line it up at the 3 inches, and then we're going to use the ruler from the cutting tool here, and I'm going to line this up at 1.5 or 1.5 inches. So this mark here is at 1.5, and on this tool, this is a Stampin' Up trimmer. It also works on the tonic one. If you have that, there's an arrow. So we're going to line up this arrow and line with the 1.5, and we're going to use this as our cutting tool and cut it down to 10.5. So we're on the first panel, the 3 inch panel, and again we're at the 1.5 inch mark. Okay, so I'm going to cut down this line to 10.5 inches, and again that line will line up with the 10.5 mark. Take the paper out, and then we're going to line up again with the 3 inch mark and do exactly the same thing. You've then got your scored paper with your two cutting lines down the middle. Now we're going to work on our mountains and our valleys. So we're going to work on the outside edges first. So we're going to go Valley. Go gently with it. You should be able to, hopefully, because this paper is 180 GSM, you can do this part with your fingers by lightly pressing, and then you can go back over with a ball tool. So then the centre one is going to be a mountain. And then we're going to go valley again. So downwards for valley and upwards for mountain. So there's our valley. So now we're going to work on the centre. So we're going to lightly lift up the paper and take it towards the outside edge. And then underneath here, you can press it down so that you're creating a valley. The next one becomes a mountain. There it is there. So it's the opposite of the fold here. So you can gently put that forward. Then we're going to go valley, mountain, and again gently lift up the paper and take that fold to the outside edge, and you've created yourself another valley fold. And then with any luck your card will fold up like this. You can leave this as a card that we're going to decorate in a moment, but you could also turn it into like a mini fold journal that you could use for photos, which will make a lovely keepsake kind of gift. So now that we've got that idea in place, I'm going to go through and use my bone folder and just strengthen these fold lines. I'm now going to bring in the Warm Wishes paper, and I want to incorporate some of these patterns, but I'm going to go for quite a plain background to begin with, but then I'm going to bring in some of these smaller sentiments to decorate and make the card more festive. So you'll remember that these squares here are currently 3 inches by 3 inches. So to create a nice border, I'm going to cut myself 10 squares that are 1/8 of an inch smaller. So they will be 2 7/8 squares. So 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. So here's the green decorative paper. So it's going to be a matter of positioning these as you like them. And then again we can come back in and decorate some of these layers up. We've then got the smaller panels on the side, and so with these you want the measurement to be 1/2 of 3, so it's 1.5 less 1/8, so that becomes 1 3/8 by 2 7/8. So these will pop in here like so. And then I've cut down some of the smaller tags. So we've got Joy to the World and Merry Christmas, and that can pop on here. And then we've got Happy Holidays as well, which is very appropriate as we're coming up to the Thanksgiving time for our American friends. So this will be how the front of the card will look, and I will stick this down, and then when we come to the back I want to show you a couple more options. course at this stage add some family photos onto these blocks. You can also reverse the folds so that your centre mountain becomes a valley and vice versa, and then you'll find that you can open it almost like a mini photo album, and then you can turn this into more of a keepsake. I don't want to see that pattern behind, so I'm going to use some of the scrap red and cut it down into two 4-inch panels. So I've got my two 4-inch panels like so, and I'm going to adhere those to the back where the gap is, so that when I open up I'm still looking at red. So then I'm going to glue these into place. So we want some glue on the gap here. So my camera slightly let me down at the point where I had measured the ribbon. I tacked it down with some tape, and then I cut away this side here so that I was able to have the right length for tying my ribbon together. That's just the way that I can do it. Of course, you can always just take two separate pieces of ribbon and then add them to the front. I then glued on my panel, and then I added another set of 6 squares to the back. You can of course have more photos here, you can add pockets, you can add your own sentiments, but for now I'm going to keep this the main focal point of the card. And then if I choose to turn it into more of a journal, when I come to send it, I've also got that option. So we'll tie this up, and then we will add a little decorative paper to decorate the front and the back that we can see here. In this case I'm going to keep the design relatively simple, so I'm adding a simple joy from the Warm Wishes ephemera and one of the floral elements with one of the cardinals. So there we have our card. This is day 20 of my Christmas card making, 5 days to go. This card is quite a showstopper, so you can either use it as a card, as I explained, or again you can fold it up and turn it more into a photo keepsake. But now that you've got the extra layers of paper, it really is lightweight enough to send in the post, but also very, very secure when you stand it up. Thank you, as always, for spending some time with me today. I hope your Christmas card making is going well, and I look forward to welcoming you back here again tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.